Breaking on Denver 7 News at 6, an RTD train still on the tracks hours after a dangerous derailment. We're looking back to what the agency promised to riders when the same thing happened 3 years ago.
Also punching and using construction equipment as weapons. These are some of the aggressive tactics homeless advocates claim the city of Denver is using to clear out camps.
These things are, they're not just illegal, but they're intolerable in a humane society.
How the city is responding to a new lawsuit.
The pandemic changed so many areas of our life, including how we go to the doctor. A new study shows the benefits of telemedicine, but doctors warn of some limitation.
And with the wet weather, will Colorado's famous red and golden leaves hang on? We're going straight to the Forest Service for answers. Yeah, we don't want fall to end before it just gets started. We want to enjoy the beautiful colors, but we do have a lot to get to this Thursday morning. Thanks for joining us. I'm Brian Sanders.
And I'm Nicole Brady. Yeah, the first day of fall getting off to a messy start on the roads and a wet forecast here. We have team coverage this morning. Of course, we'll get to Lisa with that forecast in a moment, and Veronica with a major RTD derailment. Jason, though, first we have a major crash on I-25.
Yeah, it's all closed down up here on the north side of town, unfortunately, north and southbound lanes of I-25. Let me show you what's going on. So this is the situation. We had a tanker truck flip over about 2:30 this morning right under 84th Avenue. So 84th is closed, northbound is closed, and they were concerned about the integrity of the bridge. So they closed down southbound. I'm surprised that southbound is still closed down. This is what it looks like from 104th Avenue, where traffic is obviously not moving. This is the area right in between, and this is the drive going from 120th. So they're just starting to back up to 120th Avenue. Let me show you some of the pictures of what happened early this morning, where that tanker right there flipped over. Hazardous material spill had to be contained, and they're still working to clear this up right now. So to get around it, the northbounders are not going to be as bad as the southbounders, but you use Grant, Washington to the Thornton Parkway. Southbound is a total mess right now, and it's backed up to 120th. So it's at least an hour in there. The farther away you can get to I-25, get to Highway 36 and join southbound, you'll be doing yourself a huge favor. We also have a stall on I-76 near 74th Avenue, a crash down here at Parker and 225, and obviously we still have Abilene closed down for that derailment, Lisa. So we have wet roadways and even some fog down to the south that's causing some visibility issues.
Yeah, a lot going on this morning. With some of that lower lying cloud cover, we're still going to see some light showers. Most of the heavier rain has moved off to the east of I-25 right now, up along 76. We're getting another round, though, on the western slope here early this morning. So chance for, again, a few more scattered showers for us here in town. As you're getting out the door this morning, it's a lot cooler than yesterday. Upper 40s to low 50s this morning. We'll be at about 55 degrees by 11 o'clock. Highs today in the mid to upper 60s. Skies will clear out later today. We're going to see mid to upper 60s and some sunshine later on. And then we are in for a beautiful weekend. Fall officially starts tonight, 7:03 here in town. We'll take a closer look at just how pretty the first weekend of fall is going to be, you guys, coming up.
All right, thank you, Lisa. Well, want to take you to Aurora this morning. More breaking news. An RTD train is still off the tracks after a scary derailment yesterday at Sable and Exposition. It injured 3 people.
Denver 7's Veronica Costa is there this morning. And Veronica, this is the second time in recent years this has happened at the exact same intersection.
It is, and it's actually been 12 hours or more than 12 hours since the train derailed yesterday. You can see a portion of it at least still on the rails here. More than a dozen crew members really working hard to try and get it off that rail. But you can see it's a tough job. It looks very tedious. These guys have likely been out here for hours. Street closures, like Jason mentioned, still very much in place. But you did mention that previous train derailment happened 3 years ago, back in 2019. Back then, RTD promised a couple things. They promised to develop better ways to track operators, give more training on how to handle bad weather, and post some speed signs as well. I will say we've seen at least one of those speed signs on the actual structure of the railway here, so that's something to note. Despite all of that, the train did end up derailing again yesterday. And firefighters, paramedics, even members of Aurora's fire rescue technical team, they were all called out to help. As you can imagine, a Tuesday, it was a little bit busy, about 24 people on the train when it derailed. We know 3 of those people had to go to the hospital, but they didn't have some serious injuries. Back in 2019, a bit of a different story. One woman actually had her foot severed. We know at least 5 other people needed to seek some sort of treatment as well. They had injuries. At the time, RTD said the blizzard-like conditions, the speed and operator error were what caused the crash. And this morning, we have heard back from RTD about what they're doing in terms of some service, because there were some issues yesterday. They're saying they still have those shuttles running to try and get people who typically use this line to wherever they need to go. But of course, we'll have some updates on our website. That's over at denver7.com. We'll keep you updated as the morning goes on as well. We're live in Aurora. I'm Veronica Acosta, Denver 7.
All right, thank you, Veronica. Well, advocates for the homeless are taking aim at Denver city leaders for allowing the unhoused to be harassed, bullied, and even assaulted. Lawyers sent a letter to the mayor and city council this week alleging dozens of instances where Denver leaders were in violation of a legal agreement for failing to let the unhoused know that they would sweep their camps.
These things are, they're not just illegal, but they're intolerable in a humane society. So based on that and this escalation of, based on the escalation of the tactics by the city, it was time to say enough is enough.
So that same attorney says Denver will face a lawsuit if things don't change. Mayor Hancock released a statement saying, quote, "Without question, we expect that all city employees treat everyone with respect. We're confident that city employees and city contractors will do just that." Times are tough business-wise right now, and Centura Health has let go of about 350 employees. That's about 1% of its employees in both Colorado and Kansas. Most of the affected employees did not care for patients directly, though. Some workers will be able to transition to other jobs. Others will receive severance and help finding a new job. In a statement, Centura says inflation and the possibility of a recession were factors.
One thing we learned during the pandemic is sometimes it's easier to see a doctor over video from the comfort of your own home. And a new study finds those visits are pretty accurate. Researchers followed 2,400 people who did a telemedicine consultation, followed by an in-person visit for the same problem within 90 days. They found the diagnosis in the video visit matched the in-person diagnosis in 87% of cases. We talked to a local doctor who said telemedicine can be really good for reviewing test results, talking about medication, and for mental health.
I think it makes people who may have behavioral health issues a lot more comfortable jumping on a televisit to talk about things rather than come in and sit in a waiting room and spend a half a day to talk to the doctor about something that can be quickly addressed with a televisit.
I did a visit from my car recently, in fact. Dr. Joy did tell us that telemedicine isn't the best for acute visits like abdominal pain or ear pain, because things like that, doctors typically need to see you and do an exam. Douglas County is taking steps to prevent a Marshall fire level disaster. Next month, it will do a massive fire drill. This will happen on Saturday, October 1st, near Colorado 83 and 86 in Franktown. The Douglas County Office of Emergency Management says they'll simulate a fast-moving fire to test a series of plans and protocols. They'll test alert systems, evacuations, and incident management. You can expect a heavy police and fire presence in that area on October 1st. Well, I'm getting ready for October. Fall starts tonight. Officially, Lisa mentioned the cooler weather, the sweaters and boots, the leaves changing. It's my favorite season, if you can't tell.
Well, it feels like it outside. The corn mazes are starting to pop up, and some communities celebrate the autumnal equinox tonight. As harvest time at Chimney Rock in southeastern Colorado, a special sunrise tour started at 5:15 this morning. A chance for visitors to experience the sunrise from the Chalkwin Great House and learn why these events are important to their ancestors. In southwestern Colorado, meanwhile, there's a unique phenomenon. In Picture Canyon, as the sun rises over the canyon, it shines into the crack cave, and that lights up ancient markings which are only lit up on the equinox. So pretty cool there. Well, we hope you have a chance to make it up to the high country this weekend to catch a glimpse of the changing aspens. A lot of gold out there. We've been scrolling through our Discover Colorado Through Your Photos Facebook page, and from the pictures, this would be a great weekend to get out there. It had us thinking about what the forecast will be like for the Front Range. You might remember just how beautiful Denver was last year with the changing leaves. So we spoke with a representative from the Colorado State Forest Service. She says the Front Range should be in store for another great season.
So things are starting to cool off, and we're going to start seeing these color changes across the state. So I have high hopes that we'll have good colors. I think there was some decent moisture this year, and that does help improve fall colors. So the moisture that we've had should we should have another good year.
Yeah, we like hearing that. Our digital team has put together a complete in-depth look at the changing aspens across Colorado, including the best hikes and drives to view the leaves. You can find that on Denver7.com. One of the drives that we don't recommend right now is on I-25.
Definitely not. We are making some progress. So the traffic you see right now is the northbound side of I-25. They've allowed access from 84th to go north I-25, but not past 84th. So you still have to get off the highway, then you can get back on there at 84th. You just saw that flashing lights for the southbound side. I'm led to believe that we could see southbound I-25 open here fairly soon. I'll keep an eye on that for you here this morning, but right now I-25 is still closed. 84th to the Thornton Parkway, both directions.
You know what smells really bad? Wet dog.
Oh, yeah.
I took the dogs out for a walk last night. Got a little wet, but take a look at your dog walking forecast today. 50s this morning, upper 40s, low 50s here at about 7 o'clock. We'll see a few showers. More sunshine and upper 60s later today. Things will gradually start to clear out and warm up. We're in for a really pretty weekend. We'll take a look at that, plus your leaf peeping forecast coming up.
Even with the wet dog smell, we love Denver on rainy days, sunny days. How much would you be willing to pay for the coveted website domain name denver.com? There's a cool story about why it's now for sale.
From our skyline there to our rail lines this morning, a new effort by railroad enthusiasts to keep part of our state's history intact.